what we need more of in anime? Fucking MILFs, man! It's a genre that is so underutilized here, like, Oni-chan, what? One-sama, huh? Nah. What we need is some of that Okaa-san. If you have superior taste, then look no further, because I got just the thing for you! Introducing to you the newest form that incest is most definitely not wincest, even if it's in another world. Do you love your mom and her 2 multi-target attacks? Just look at this bitch. You already know she's the ada type. A light novel showing us a mother and son being transported into an MMORPG and their budding relationship. Not long after arriving into this new world, the son realizes how OP his mom is after she attains 2 legendary swords, so she's kind of essentially like the female Kirito, except probably better written, and Kirito probably doesn't have a son that wants to constantly touch her titties. Before being transported into this new world, the mother, Mamako, and her son, Masato, were not very close initially, but as they go into this game, they start to become a lot closer, and form bonds that are not just seemingly of the familial kind. And yes, they are blood related! We're all secretly hoping they're not, but I can assure you, they are. So if you guys with mommy issues enjoy getting your rocks off to a loot series about a mother and her son, then you've come to the right place. And mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. This light novel is fairly new, and having only read volume 1, is pretty uniquely written and fun and can easily make you picture what is being described. Even though that's kind of a catch-22 because sometimes you don't want to picture what's being described. If you couldn't have guessed, this light novel is fairly heavy on the ecchi aspect and is a harem of sorts, with 2 other party members joining the mother-son duo being called Wise and Porta. And although we have 2 other female members in the group that aren't related by blood to our main lead, all the ecchi shit happens with his mom! Move over, big brother. It's time to get with my mother. For example, one scene that really disturbed me was one scene when the mother and son were battling and a monster squirts out this juice that lands on his mother that disintegrates her clothes. And like any other normal teenager who sees their parents slowly becoming nude, he starts to describe her naked body and, woe and behold, falls on top of her and grabs her boobs! I mean, of course, guys, it's a law of gravity that anytime you fall, you're always gonna land on top of some fat anime titties. Don't argue with me, it's science. But the more disturbing part of that scene for me was her acceptance of her son just grabbing and fondling her breasts by saying, we can't do this, we're related, but if we're gonna do this, at least turn the lights off! Yes, mother, that's the problem here. It's the lights. But that was just one of the many ecchi scenes between the mother and son, and I can assure you there is a disturbingly large, copious amount of them throughout the light novel.
2 excessively splendid mountains.
Underwear! And with there being so many ecchi scenes, there has to be some with the other 2 female members. With Wise, we have the ever-repetitive panty viewing and... oh shit, that's just really it, isn't it? I mean, in the end, it's really just him feeling up his mom, isn't it? Though I can't really blame him for solely wanting to focus on banging his mom when the other 2 girls in the group are kind of a shit show of waifus. Alongside Oedipus's mom, we have our cute Mary Sue-like character who everyone claims that they need to protect, but wouldn't secretly mind if she was killed off. And although I would love to say she's useless and is just put there to be a cute side bitch to adhere to otaku boys' dreams of ever obtaining such a cute girl, but we all know you guys could never do that. She's not as easy as Momo for domestic girlfriend. She actually does help out quite a bit with her abilities and probably provides more support to the series rather than the male lead. Wise, on the other hand, is just there for comedic relief, and I'm assuming this because the only fucking thing she does within the story is die repeatedly and have to be resurrected. She's also the tsundere of the series, which automatically usually would make her best girl to me, but actually I think this is like the first time I've genuinely hated a tsundere this much. Everything she says is so soon and screechy. It's like there's barely an ounce of dere to her. There is a fine line between being a good tsundere where you soon in the right moments and dere in perfect amounts. It's an art. And then there's just being a plain old bitch. That feel when your mom's the most bangable girl surrounding you? This series can most definitely make you hard with horror with its non-stop mom-cest, but It actually is quite a fun ride as well, with all the characters' quirky personalities. I must applaud this author for being able to write so well that this is probably the first light novel I've read that is written in so much detail that it makes everything being said in this fictional world so easily pictured. Even when his mom tries on a bikini that barely just covers her nipples. What is armor really? A philosophical debate unavoidable in the presence of any bikini armor. But Momoko in such armor was definitely a sight. The breastplates covered less than a fifth of her magnificent bosoms, which threatened to break free with each sway, with her slim waist and smooth midriff exposed, and the minimalist triangular covering below. Flesh was bared almost anywhere the eye could see. Masato clutched his head as if trying to crush his own skull. Nobody gets it. Nobody else knows the pain of seeing your own mother in bikini armor. Another thing that made this light novel so enjoyable is the comedy between the interactions of the characters and their quirky personalities. For example, there's a character called the Queen of Night that can literally control NPCs and makes them act like hosts in a host club that pamper her and also become her human furniture. Seeing her control the NPCs so passionately really hit a funny bone with me, because I think all of us can agree we've all wanted to control an NPC within our lives and make them light their village on fire and make them look on as they see their loved ones burning to death, screaming, "Why, NPC? We trusted you!" Or, just put like a stick up their butt or something. Another example is of a character named Shirase, who's kind of like a kudere, but goes to the party and kind of gives them pointers, and then after she gives them pointers, just quickly dies. Another thing that was a pretty funny part to this light novel was the lead character, Masato, always referencing recent games and video games and consoles and such. I know what he's talking about! True gamer girl! Every character in this story is fairly funny and unique in their own way. Even the random characters that appear maybe once and probably won't appear ever again within this series. This series is a very entertaining comedic ecchi that really shouldn't have felt as fresh as it did, but did because it is something I've never experienced in an isekai, nonetheless in a light novel. I know I went in hard on the incest aspect, but really, this series is just a lighthearted, fun, cute series that, although has some questionable themes to it, I do recommend you try out. The beginning is a bit slow because it's just showing the budding relationship between Momoko and Masato as they explore dungeons, but I'm sure some big plot twist is going to come eventually. And why am I certain of this? Because this series is getting an anime! The anime will be premiering in the summer season, and I'm sure it will garner a lot of attention due to the true love between a mother and her son. I highly recommend you read this series, and not just because of the ecchi that will either highly excite or disturb you, but to be able to experience this new form of isekai that you've never got to experience before. Finally, the era of little sisters is over! It's time to fuck our moms! Take motherfucker to a whole new meaning. If you do decide to read this light novel, which I do recommend because although it can be a bit odd, it is still very brilliantly well written, then you can purchase it at bookwalker.com. Use coupon code Sydsnap for 600 yen off your first purchase after making an account. That's like $2 for a whole fucking book. That's a pretty great deal, guys. By the way, for those of you who don't know, I just opened a Patreon! I have quite a few unique tiers that are pretty fun. One of my favorite tiers is the Manga Club tier, where every month we go on call and pick which manga to discuss at the end of the month as a group. This month, we'll be reading 2 volumes of 20th Century Boy, so if you are interested in joining, please check it out. Thank you all again for watching this video. I have to do my Patreon shout out with their waifu voices real quick. This is my first time doing this, so Misato Kurugi here, talking to you from Nerd Headquarters. Ah! An angel is attacking! Hurry! Get the Avas ready! What are you doing, Lee? An angel's attacking! Stop drinking so much! Alright, Petey Piranha. Aren't you a Mario character? What the hell are you doing here? DinoRocket! Get in the fucking robot! Alfonso M6! What the hell are you doing here in this anime? There's literally no anime character called Alfonso. DreamCancel? More like already canceled his Patreon pledge. No, I'm just kidding. I'm honestly really thankful. Seriously, I love you. Please, I love you. And all of my other patrons supporting this channel. If you are thinking about supporting my Patreon, it can be found here or with my link in the description. Thank you guys again for watching this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow me on all my other social medias. They're all in the description. All of it is. Everything you need to know in the description. Everything! And have a good day. Or night. It depends on where you're watching this, but just have a good one.